We're back in the studio today, so let's do this week's safety update. Hello and welcome again to Safety Update with Sam. I, of course, am Sam. You are not. That's the way we like it. We are back in the studio today. The sunburn has faded. The skin has peeled because I have ancestry from the Nordic countries, so I do not tan. It's just burn white, burn white. That's how my summer goes. But for those of you who have asked, yes, I did have a great time in Florida. Got to see a bunch of stuff, got to see some family, and we had just a fantastic time in Florida. But it's always nice to come home. There's nothing like sleeping in your own bed after a week of not. So you guys, I don't have to tell you guys that. That is basically your normal. So it just one more reason why I appreciate what you do out there on the road, because yeah, you guys very rarely get to sleep in your own beds, and I appreciate that. I know other people do too, even if they don't necessarily tell you that. But okay, so one thing though that we need to address is there are times when I get phone calls from other motorists on the road, and they have complaints, and they like to call and complain about you guys, and I take those complaints and I take them seriously, and so I look at what they do. Now, there are times when the motorist just doesn't know how to drive around a semi-truck, or even how a semi-truck operates. I mean, there's just those cases where they say this guy did that, and you know, looking at dash cam footage or even talking more with the other motorists, they kind of come to the conclusion that, you know, maybe they weren't quite in the right on some things, or they didn't understand some things, and that's why I'm there to kind of educate them, and so on and so forth. But there are legitimate times where they have legitimate complaints about some of the drivers out there. And I just want to remind you guys that there is a giant name on the side of your truck and trailer. And while you're out on the road, you guys represent that name. And yes, I drove in Florida, I drove through Georgia, I drove through Atlanta and Nashville and all that kind of stuff. So I understand the kind of crap that you guys go through on the interstate systems. There are absolutely insane people out there, and a good road trip on my part was really a good eye-opener to just how bad some of these motorists are. In fact, the dash cam we're going to watch here in just a second shows one of those great motorists, not from me, but from one of our trucks, got it on their dash cam. But I just want to remind you guys that the motorists can be extremely irritating out there. They cut in front of you, they slow down, they change lanes quickly, they merge badly, they don't use turn signals, and I understand that can get frustrating. Trust me, I really do. If you're looking for a guy that's got some irritation tendencies behind the wheel, it is me, okay? I do have that as well. But it's something that you got to keep in check, okay? It's something that you just got to let roll off your back. You cannot spend your mental capacity thinking about these people and how you can, you know, enact your revenge on them. It's just not worth it. And you're in a much bigger vehicle, and you could do a lot more damage. And so you just got to relax, okay? Because there are people that call with legitimate complaints about some of our drivers even cutting people off, flipping people off, you know, swerving back and forth. We can't have that, guys. That's not the level that I know you all are capable of. You guys are all fantastic drivers. I've seen dash cams, I've seen reports. We have good drivers on this fleet. We are not a fleet that just accepts anybody off the street, you know, with what you guys like to call a steering wheel holder. We don't have steering wheel holders on this fleet, okay? You guys are all good drivers. I understand the motorists get on your nerves, but you are the professional driver, okay? You guys are the ones that will keep the road safe out there, not these motorists. They're going to do everything in their power to really kind of screw with you guys. So I just need you guys to remember that when you're out on the road, you are representing Myborg out there. There's people that have no clue who I am. They have no clue who your dispatcher is. They have no clue who Zach is or anything like that. They only know you, okay? Because you're the one behind the wheel with the giant Myborg behind you. So you are the face of Myborg to the people you come in contact with. And I know, I've seen some of your faces. It's terrifying that you're the face, but you know, it is what it is. I'm just kidding. You guys are all very good looking people. Anyways, so just remember that when you're on the road, and drivers will get you irritated. I know they will. They did to me last week when I was in Florida, okay? Or 2 weeks ago. But just remember that you're the professional driver, okay? Keep yourself safe. Keep yourself out of trouble, okay? If there's erratic behavior in front of you, just back off. Don't let it happen. If someone is really, really on your nerves, they keep cutting in front of you, whatever, just pull over at the next exit. Let them get ahead of you. You're never going to see them again, okay? So just let them get ahead of you, and then you can get back on the road. It might take a minute or two of slowing down, but just get away from them, okay? That's all I can say. I don't want to get any more phone calls from motorists saying that, hey, this guy's cutting me off, or this guy flipped me off, or this guy's doing whatever. Keep in mind too, okay, real quick here, keep in mind, a lot of motorists now have dash cams, okay? So they're getting footage of you guys on dash cam and sending it to me. Okay, so just keep in mind, everybody's got a camera now, okay? It's not just us anymore. So make sure that you're really minding your P's and Q's out there. Make sure that you are driving safe out there, okay? And if there is a motorist that's on your nerves, get away from them. Slow down. Get off on the next exit. Go use the restroom. Go grab a burrito or something like that. Just get away from them, let them go, and then you can go back on your way, okay? Cool, cool. Let's watch some dash cam. All right, I said we'd be watching some of these crazy motors out on the road. I think this is in Arkansas, I want to say. I could be completely wrong. But this, let's just take a look at some of the motorists you guys get to deal with out there. So, yeah, how's that for you? Not only almost rear ends the car in front of him, but then slams on his brakes and comes to almost a complete stop right in front of us. So fantastic. This, I think, is a classic example of distracted driving. Now, you can make the argument that that white car was on the tail of the car in front of him, and this guy just came out of nowhere. But yeah, this guy in the black car, I don't know what that is. I have no clue. But that guy was obviously distracted. He was not paying attention to what was going on, probably on a cell phone, you know, texting something, maybe picking out another song on Spotify, whatever. But he was not paying attention. And so this is some of the traffic that you guys are dealing with out on the road, and it is absolutely insane. So for something like this, you know, quite honestly, this driver did everything right. He saw what was coming up. He slammed on his brakes too. Luckily, we got the disc brakes on the trailer, which helps us our stopping distances. But this is just a classic case of this car just doing a terrible job, and we almost got to pay the consequences of that. I don't know if he spooked himself and just slammed on his brakes and didn't feel like getting going again. But he slammed on his brakes pretty hard, and we got down to like 15 miles an hour on a highway system there. So for something like this, if you see cars driving erratic, this is what always makes me nervous about like big city driving, is you have the cars that'll do 45 miles an hour, and then you have the cars that'll do 85 miles an hour. And when those two kind of groups meet, that's usually when we have collisions, and big ones too, because guys like this in the black car are not paying attention to the speed of other people, and the speed of other people are going to cause him to get into a wreck. So when you see people driving erratically, now unfortunately for our driver here, he really didn't have much of a choice. He kind of did the smart thing and just slowed down and just let the guy go, okay? He could have maybe zoomed around him and like I said, you know, given him the howdy doody or whatever, but he just stopped, let the guy go. He's obviously a terrible driver, so he wants to get away from him. So this is fine. Just let him go, get back up to speed, and you're never going to see this guy again. So just keep that in mind. These people are out there, and they are making your guys' life even more difficult. Then you have my sympathy. But just really, you got to watch out for these kind of guys because they are everywhere. But if you see guys driving erratic like this, perfect example. Just let them go because they are going to do nothing but harm you guys. So let them go, pick up speed, and just go on with your day. But this is a fun one. This is a fun one. What would you do in a situation like this? I mean, it's all just kind of reaction at this point, but I think the driver handled this thing pretty well. This could have been a much bigger accident or rear ending of whatever, but as always, chime in with comments or phone calls, text, whatever. I love them all. This is why we watch this stuff, so you can kind of put yourself in their situation. So anyways, be careful of cars like this, okay? They're out there, they're gunning for you. Be very careful. And like I say, at the end of every safety video, because of stuff like this, I want you guys to make sure that you drive safe.